Hello, I'm Tuppence. I'm trying the Supernova technique again. This is going to be take number 3. I'm going to be using the same coaster moulds as I used before. They're very shallow. I'm using the same resin. This is craft resin. But this is a low viscosity resin. When I watched one of Petra's videos on her technique, she mentioned that she was using a medium viscosity resin. So I need to let this thicken up. And one of the ways that you can do that is to let it warm up. There's 200 millilitres of resin there, and that's going to warm up the longer that I let it sit, especially with that amount of resin in the cup. So I'm just going to grab my digital thermometer and then I can check the temperature of the resin now. If I can get this to turn on. Oop, there you go. Right, let's zap it. Wow, it's at 30 already. 33 to 35 is the sweet spot. So I better start mixing up my colours and I can leave the rest of that to degas. I'm going to be using 5 different colours and I'm using a combination of alcohol inks, and these are all going to be by Octopus Fluids, and some resin dye inks, and this one is lemon yellow, it's from Let's Resin, the other ones I think are from JDiction. So I've put a couple of drops of lemon yellow in my cup. And now I want to add 7 to 8 drops of the alcohol ink, and this is honey. Okay, that is really fluid. It comes out much faster than I think. I think that's probably enough. I'm going to use about 10 mils of resin for each of the colours, and then I need an interference powder and a white pigment as well. I also need to save some of this because I'm going to have to push the colours out, so I want to keep some clear. Right, let me get this mixed up. I'm going to stir this around carefully. I don't want to add any more bubbles now that I've taken the time to let this degas, but I also don't want to hang around because I've got to get these all mixed up before that gets too hot. Right, this time I have put my resin in my cup first and I'll add my colours to that. It's a little easier. So this is sapphire alcohol ink and blue resin dye, and that's from JDiction. So I'll get those mixed up. I want really strong colours. I think the problem I had last time was my colours were just too weak. Alright, that is beautiful. Third colour is orange, so this is carrot. And the dye, no, that's red. And the orange resin dye, again from JDiction. Couple of drops. And give it a stir. That's nice and strong. Fourth is red. This is Bloody Mary. And the red dye from JDiction. And wow, that is very strong. And a final colour is a purple. This is plum. And then the purple resin dye, again from JDiction. And I was debating about whether using a purple or not, because I should get a purple with the blue and the red that I have. We'll see. They may not mix together very well. Alright, those are my colours. I'm just going to check the temperature, and that is 33, 32, so still got a little wiggle room. I've got to mix my interference powder and my white up. And I want to use a little bit more resin for this. Now I said I'm using roughly 10 mils, but I'm not really measuring it. I can't see the side of the cup to tell you whether I'm actually hitting that mark. So I'm just eyeballing it. So I'm just going to add a couple of scoops of the interference, and this is so beautiful. It's called Iridescent Blue. This one is from Luminart, which you can't get anymore, but any interference will do. And now for my final colour. So this is the white pigment paste from Apex Resins. It's Supreme White. So I need a little bit more resin for this. Alright. Let me just clean my finger. So this is a really thick paste. It's highly pigmented, so I'm not going to need very much. Just get right to the bottom and pick up some of that pigment. I actually find this a little too thick, but it does work really well. I'm going to get that mixed in. I want to make sure that I stir that round and I don't end up with any raw lumps of the pigment, because that just leaves white dots. I need this to be really opaque. I'm not looking for milky resin here. That's pretty good. Let me clean off the excess gloop off of my stick. And then I can make sure that that is really well stirred in. Yeah, that looks nice and opaque. Let me shuffle these around and I can lay out my resin. I do have these on my G3 tray. I'm not actually going to be using my machine to cure this, but I do just want to catch all my mess. All right. Test the temperature again. And, 34, so we are pretty much bang on ready to go now. I'm going to start by pouring my colours individually. So I'm just going to drizzle them around the edge. I'm not doing the dirty pour. I've got something in my mould. Let me just clean that out. I've seen Petra do this method too. Last time I did the dirty pour, I just ended up with really muddy colours. So I am trying all kinds of different things to get this. So the first colour I laid down was the carrot, then the purple. Now I'm going with the red. And I am debating that choice of putting the carrot and the purple, because that should make a brown. Now I'm going with the yellow. Try and put a lot of that in, because I do want to brighten this up. I don't want dark muddy colours. And the blue. And again, I really like blue, especially with yellow, because you can make green, which I know is not a lot of people's favourite colour, but I really like it. Okay. So that has colour all over the place. Add a little bit more yellow. Just going to see if I can scrape the rest of this out. And that should give me a chance of having some nice bright colours. Can mix with the red. Don't really want it mixing with the purple. So I'm just going to keep adding the colours until they're used up. Although I think I've got enough blue in there. Now I'm going to take the interference and I'm going to drizzle that around on top of the colours, not quite to the edge. I'll just go round. Whoops. The colours are pulling to one side on that, so I don't think that's level. Hopefully that will straighten it out. All right, now I can add the white. So I'm just going to try and drizzle this. I don't want to get a great big lump where I start. So I'm just pouring it carefully on the inside of the interference. And again, don't want a big blob. Just go slowly. There we go. All right, I do want a decent amount here, but I haven't got a lot of room left for pushing this. So I'm going to add my clear resin now, try and drizzle that in the middle, and that should push everything out to the side and on this one. And then hopefully this should all move back into the middle, dragging that colour if it's not too thick. So I am going to put this on a time lapse and hope that I've used enough white and enough interference. Got some gorgeous colours now, so be interested to see what this looks like. All right, now I just need to leave these. I'm going to put this on a time lapse and I'll be back when they're cured. I used a torch to quickly pop the bubbles on the surface and then I just left them. The top right mould definitely looks like it's off centre as it's pulling to one side, so I'm going to have to check my mat afterwards and make sure that these are all level. Okay, everything is cured, and if the backs are anything to look at, these are really pretty. I can see loads of colours. This pulled off to one side, I did explain about that, but I'll have a look at those in a minute. In the meantime, these hearts, this was the leftover resin that were in my cups. I did realise I had some left over, but I didn't realise it until about 3 hours after, and it was really toffee-like. So I just mixed stuff together. This was the iridescent and the blue, and I think that is really pretty. I didn't get a chance to film it because I was scrambling to find a mould to throw it in. But yeah, just mix this together. It was seriously like toffee, so There are a couple of little bubbles there, but I could always put something on the front of this if I wanted to, just to disguise that. I think that's really nice as it is. Now this is the white and the purple, and I did not have enough of it. So I decided to crinkle up some plastic and push that down onto the back. It's going to create some texture, and it spread that resin out so it filled the mould. So I just need to peel this off. This is just some iridescent gift wrap that I had handy. And I can see that it did push it out and fill the mould a little too well. It's really ragged around the edges. So this is going to need quite a lot of cleaning up. And it's also going to need backing with some more resin. In fact, I think I'm going to have to take that out of the mould. Wow, look at that marbling. That is so pretty. I'm not really a fan of purple, or this is more lilac actually. But yeah. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to trim this around while it's still soft, and I can take off the excess, and then I'll be able to use these as pocket hugs. So I'll trim this around. Well, there's no point putting it back in the mould. I'll pop it onto a cup or something, and then I can just put some resin on the back, even it out a little bit, and turn it into something useful. I don't like wasting any kind of resin. I think I've cut a little bit too much off actually. Yeah, that's a little close to the bone. Never mind, I will sort all that out in a minute. This is not what the video is actually about. So, let's demould these. Looks like I got a bit of dust on there, but this is the back. I can always add a coat of resin, and I may have to, because these moulds do have a few marks in them, so we'll see. Once I get this out. It looks so pretty on the back. I'm hoping that I've got the effect I want on the front. Okay, ready? Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got the colours. I've got some webbing around the outside. It looks nice. Don't think I actually used enough of the interference or the white to bring that in. It is a much better effect than I've had in the past. And when you hold it up to the light, it is really pretty. I like the back actually more than I do the front, but I wish I had the webbing on the other side, on this side. Right, let me get this one out. Now this obviously pulled all the way over to the edge because it wasn't level. So that is something I need to check. But I want to see what this one looks like. It hasn't all pulled into the middle either. There is a large area in the middle. So yeah, let's have a look. Got some colours in there. Yeah, no, I don't like this one. Yeah, I really don't like this one. It looks very muddy when you put it down on the table. When you hold it up to the light, there are some really nice areas. I like the edge on this one. Just go all the way around. There are lots of different colours in the edge. Yeah, that's not bad. But I can't say I like this one. I don't like this side either, so... But this one, yeah, I'm not too sad about this one. This is not bad. The edge is a little bit muddier actually than the other one, but there are some areas of nice colour, especially this blue section here. So I do need to mix up a little bit of resin to give these a top coat, not this side, the other side, and also the heart. My moulds are a little bit marked, so these surfaces are not as nice as I'd like, so I'm going to coat them. I'm using Apex's One Coat resin. It's thick, fast cure resin. I've got 50 mils mixed up already, and I just want to check that these are level. I've got this propped up on a mould, so that is pretty good. I've got that as balanced as I can get them. Yeah, they're both pretty good, and that way I should have a nice even surface when I pour this on. So I'm going to start by pouring a blob in the middle. Now I will pour a little bit on. I can always add some more. I don't want to pour too much in one go, otherwise it will all run over the edge. So I just wiped that drip off from my finger because I am going to use my finger to push this out to the edge. I'm going to speed this up and coat both of the coasters. good. It will smooth itself out. I'm just making sure that I don't end up with any holes, which are called fish eyes. I want to add some resin onto the back of the heart as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of glitter into an extra cup. I don't think I'm going to need a lot of resin for this, so I don't want to contaminate what's left in this cup. So I'm just going to decant some. I'm trying to be really careful so that the glitter doesn't fly all over the place, get onto the back of my coasters. Right, so I'm just going to mix that in, and you can see there is very little glitter in there. It's just a little bit of sparkle. I'm only going to put a little bit of resin on the back of this any one time. Because it's got wrinkles and crinkles in it, there are lots of areas that are like valleys on the edge, and that means that the resin could just easily run off the side. So I'm going to put this on in a pretty thin layer, and the lumps really aren't that deep, so I might be able to cover it, but if I don't, then I'll have to do a couple of coats. I've got this balancing on a medicine cup, and I really should have stuck it down. It is wanting to slide all over the place. A little bit of blue tack would have sorted that out, but I didn't think of it, so never mind. Almost there. It's looking pretty good. What is that? That is a hair. I have got a hair in there, and I've got no one to blame because it's my long hair, although that is tied up. Right, I'm going to torch these to get rid of some of the bubbles. I'm not going to do the heart though. I don't want to make that any more liquid and have that run over the edge. These should only take a couple of hours to cure, so I will be back when they are ready. Alright, here they are. They are all finished and I like them. So I'm going to start with the hearts first. I added a rub on, which is a little bit like a UV DTF sticker. Has a little bit of sparkle on the back. And it's just turned something that was going to be waste, basically, into a nice little pocket hug. I didn't have any more UV DTF stickers that would be suitable for this, but to be honest with you, I really like the colour of this. The back, it's alright, it's not perfect. I can coat that if I want to, but I'm going to stick this on a pocket hug card. I think it's really pretty. The coasters themselves, now, I love the webbing on this one. I love the colours. I've got far more colours and they are much richer than my previous attempts. And yeah, a little bit more defined. They haven't all muddied together. Don't like the back and I don't like that middle. I'm wishing now that I had put something in the middle, but the edge of this I really like. There are lots of defined colours, especially this part. Yeah, so pretty. And that glossy top coat just makes it. So nice, but not my favourite. This one, yeah, this is my favourite. I love the webbing on the outside. I don't think I used enough of the interference or the white. So in future I know that I'm going to need to use a little bit more. But yeah, the colours are gorgeous. And I think I've got a heart in the middle. Really pretty. The back of this actually is quite pretty as well. The colours are so well defined. It's really pretty in its own right. Even the edge, it's a little bit more muddy, I think, than the other one, but there are some areas that are super pretty. I love this blue section just here. Yeah, this section. Gorgeous. So, Supernova technique. It isn't perfect, but I am getting there. I really do like these. I hope that you like these too. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't. It is free to you. It will really help my channel and you'll be able to see what I'm going to make next time. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.